Hey, thanks for tuning in. You're watching Bourbon Battles, and my name's Joe. We got a fun episode for you today. I'm going to ask you to stick around to learn all about a bunch of different stuff that you can give for a great bourbon Christmas present. All right, guys, let's get right into it. Like I said, we're going to talk about Christmas gifts for the bourbon enthusiast, no matter where they are in their bourbon journey, so to speak, whether they've got a shelf that looks like this one behind me here, or if they've got 10 or 12 bottles total. If they're new, they've been around for a long time, doesn't matter. There's going to be some really good ideas here for everybody at every price level. I'll talk about prices a little bit, or I'll put it down on the screen. So let's get right into it. The first thing I want to talk about is the Stave and Thief Society. Guys, you see these guys right here, right? That's their logo right there. Check them out. You see the website there. You see the discount code right there. Guys, this is an amazing program. You can take at your own pace online. You can learn so much about bourbon history. I'm going to be honest. When I took this class, I thought, guys, this is easy. I already know all this stuff, right? Because I'm a bourbon connoisseur of greatness, right? No, you learn so much about whiskey, how to taste whiskey, how to put flights together, tasting notes. You get an aroma kit and the whole 9 yards. Make sure you use that discount to get 20% off your Stave and Thief class, guys. This is for the Executive Bourbon Steward course. This is a great time. You're going to thoroughly enjoy that. Highly recommend the Stave and Thief Society. So let's get right into it, guys. That's something you can get very last minute, right before it's due, and say, hey, I got you this. So that's online. Now, let's talk about some cool stuff, guys. Let's talk about store picks. If you know me, you know I absolutely love store picks. And my favorite place to get store picks is in Bardstown, Kentucky. That's right. If you're on the Bourbon Trail, make sure you go down to Bardstown, Kentucky and visit my friends over at the Blind Pig. This is just one example of what I've got. Guys, they do some amazing things there. This is not your typical liquor store like you've been to a million times. They specialize in whiskey and whiskey-themed things. You just tell them you watch Bourbon Battles on YouTube or Facebook, or you know me. Hey, I know Joe from Bourbon Battles. He's going to give you 10% off everything in the store, guys. Bring a U-Haul. You're going to want to check it out. But, hey, if you've never had the Moonlight Mayhem down there, it's delicious. This is just one of the many things they have. You know, other store picks, you know, you can go anywhere, right? This is from Superior Liquors in Greenwood, Indiana. This Maker's Mark Private Select. This is an absolute delicious one. Might leave that out because I might need some in a little bit. My good friends over at Staves in Martinsville, Indiana, which is Hoosier Q, the barbecue place there that has over 1,000 bottles of bourbon on the shelf in Martinsville, Indiana. Guys, this is one of the things on the shelf. This is their pick. This has been holiday, if I'm not mistaken, bubble gum and a lot of tasting notes that aren't traditional for me. This is an excellent bottle. We did an event where this was unleashed, veiled. And I know a lot of people bought a couple of those because it was so good. Check those guys out. Store picks, you know, depending on where you live in the country, right? Total Wine's always got store picks. Kroger's always got store picks. Store picks are everywhere, especially in larger stores. You know, if you go in and just tell them that's what you're looking for, you're going to be able to find something unique, right? Even if the person you're buying for has a bunch of Maker's Mark, right? Those are all different store picks up there. Odds are the store pick that you're going to get, they don't have. So that's a pretty safe bet. And they're usually excellent, right? Because somebody's gone to the distillery and said, I want that barrel, I'm going to buy that barrel. I'll get into what I'm drinking right here in just a few minutes, because it is oh so good. The next thing I want to talk about is your grandpa's old fashioned. You see the website on the screen there, guys. This stuff is absolutely amazing. It comes like this. Comes like this. This happens to be their bourbon bread pudding. Tons and tons of banana flavor to me, right? I think everybody gets a little something different, but I think that's pretty much a consensus, right? So this stuff comes in an envelope. You can buy it in cubes. You can buy it in a jar and scoop it out. But the gist of this is just add whiskey and ice. The bitters are in here. The simple syrup's in here. Everything's in here. And this is an amazing old fashioned. They do such a good job. They're from right here in Indiana, which is one of the reasons I love them so much. Guys, this stuff's awesome. Like I said, you see the discount code there. Make sure you buy off their website, yourgrandpasoldfashioned.com, and use that discount code, Bourbon Battles, one word. and you're going to get big discount, and you're going to get free shipping, and you're going to help the channel, and you're going to do all those things, and you're not going to be disappointed in your grandpa's old fashioned, guys. That's, you know, we're going to have a video coming up real soon, some pre-made old fashions, right? The Penelope or Penelope, however you want to pronounce it, pre-made old fashions getting very popular. I've already gone through a bottle of the black walnut, so I'm going to have to get another one of those for an episode, but I want to compare those, some canned stuff. There's some stuff at you can get at Costco that I think is really good, that's pre-made. We're gonna do an episode on old fashions like that, right? Where you make them at home without, you know, they give you some of the ingredients pre-made, and I'm gonna count your grandpa's old fashioned in that batch, right? If you're drinking the bread pudding, I highly recommend a Woodford Double Oaked. I really like Old Forester 19 or any Old Forester product. You get a lot of those banana notes out of. Actually tends to pair well with that. I've made it with some Jack Daniel's Bonded. I've made it with the Jack Daniel's barrel proof stuff, right? So really, really good. Do yourself a favor and order that. If you've ordered before, you already know. Leave me a comment to tell me how much you like your grandpa's old fashioned. And by the way, these are in no particular order whatsoever. I just got everything out and put them on the table, and we're just going to cruise right through them. So moving right along, and some of this stuff, right, like I work with your grandpa's old fashioned, right? They've supplied me with product to review. Some of these other things that we see in here, I've worked with. Some of these distilleries I've worked with, but I have not worked with all of them. This next one stands true. Aged in Ore. You see their website on the screen there, guys. Some of their stuff, this is an aged in ore glass, right? It says the neatest dad. Kind of a cool play on words there. I got that for Father's Day. But kind of this is kind of their thing, right? This travel stuff. So these travel bottles, which are TSA approved, all that stuff, you can take them on the airplane because they're 3 ounces, right? This kit right here is amazing. 3 ounces will do you. You take that, fill it up, put it in there, hard shell case. You're not going to break it. You can drop it and all those things, take it over to a party. This is an amazing little setup right here. Very reasonably priced. You know, and the next thing that we look at is the 4-pack of those same size bottles. Right, look, you can still tell. It comes with a little marker where you can write everything on there, and it erases easy. I just got back from vacation not too long ago, and I took this with me. You can see I had Elijah Craig B525, Old Forester 100 proof, right? Yeah, that's delicious stuff. Sazerac 100 proof, the new stuff. I've not had the full proof yet, but these will go right in my carry-on bag, no problem. I don't have one down here I'd show you, but a mini Glencairn will fit right in there next to them. I do have a mini Glencairn, as a matter of fact, I think. So you can make a nice little tour pack with this. You could literally have a mini, look at that. You can literally have a mini Glencairn and 3 of those bad boys and have a really good time. The next one I want to show you is not approved for carry-on, but you can put it in your check bag, right? Same concept. These cases are nice, right? 4 bottles that are twice the size. So these things are exactly 6 ounces, right? They're loaded for bear too. 1792 full proof. Evan Williams Bottle to Bond, Maker's Mark 46. Some of the stuff that I travel with. What I love about this thing is you can take your other kit, and 2 of these will perfectly replace one of those. So you could do, you know, you put simple syrup and cherries in your whiskey, you know, to make old fashions. And I mean, you could literally get 3 old fashions out of each of these. Have your garnishes, the whole 9 yards. Really, really cool. Guys, I never worked with Aged in Ore. If this video gets back to Aged in Ore, I would love to work with you. They got some amazing things. I'm hoping my wife, who is actually, could probably hear me from here, I would really love for Santa Claus this year to possibly bring me the 4-bottle tote bag where you can take 4 bottles to a bottle share. I have some friends that have that. I probably like it better than the 6-bottle. I don't go to bottle shares where I need 6 bottles, but you never know. I'm not ruling it out. But amazing stuff. They also have a humidor that fits in the one with the 6-ounce bottles, right, where you take 2 of those out and put a humidor that takes a Boveda pack and 4 cigars. Great way to travel. The other thing I want to talk about, we speak of cigars, right? If you're in central Indiana, head on over to Professional Smokes, right? Get your loved one a gift card. Get them a couple cigars in there. They have an amazing collection. They just added a lot. They have locations in Bargersville, Indiana, and Greenwood, Indiana. If you want to really impress them, get them a locker membership. They have access to the building 24/7 and can keep their cigars right there in that locker. Very neat place, very nice place to go work. When you need a place to set down your computer. Right along, guys. I just showed you that Agent Or stuff, right? This really cool travel glass. Love that thing. However, depending on where I'm going, I prefer this travel glass, right? So that's a normal size glass. It's actually this exact glass here. Right? You can see how big it is in my hand. This comes to us from Bottle to Bond. They sent this to me quite a while ago. I've really gotten a lot of use out of this thing for the $30 it costs, $35, whatever it is. Mini Glen, nice little carrying case. I put a lanyard on it. I literally go to festivals and stuff where I know there's going to be whiskey, and I'll take this with me. I'll throw this in my golf cart if we're going to a bottle share or something. Love this thing for quick, easy, just to make sure I have a nice glass. That thing is awesome. I like the lanyard. I use it some, but really, what a great idea. Appreciate them sending this to me. I've actually bought these as gifts since they sent this to me. So I think enough of the company and I think enough of the product that I have purchased it on my own because I like it so well. Now, moving right, while we're talking about cups, right? Actually, let's come back to that. This might be the best stocking stuffer on the list, right? If you guys watch Bruzel on YouTube, right? Brewzle. He's got probably one of, if not the largest YouTube channels, right? He does whiskey festivals, right? And they sell these lanyards that you just elastic band your Glencairn in there. You go to a whiskey event where there's a lot of people pouring. This is the ticket. You carry this thing right around your neck and you just walk up and boom, you're good to go. Hands free. This thing is the cat's ass. I love this thing. I use this thing. I've bought several of these things and given them away for gifts. Send them away at auctions. People love it. I throw a Glencairn in there, and super popular. People love it. Buy a handful of them when you do it. You won't be sad. Give it to all your friends, guys. That's an awesome product, and they're $5. You can't beat that. It does not take the place of the other products we just showed you, right, with the carrying cases, right? Those are really cool in their own regards, but super cool. So moving right along while we're talking about glassware. So this is the Whiskey Grail, right? You see the website there. If you can, when you order it, just let them know that you heard about it here. I don't get anything for it. They did send this to me. They put my label on here. So stay tuned. You're going to see a video come out in the days to come where I actually talk about this guy's competitors, right? This is not a cheap cup, but I'm going to tell you, this is an awesome cup. It changes the bourbon tremendously, in a good way. I shouldn't say tremendously, in a positive way, right? It doesn't change it a ton, but it does change it. What I like to do is put some in there. I like to let it sit for a while to absorb around. I like to roll it around. And look, this isn't glass. You're not going to break this. You can get them with or without your custom logo. So people think that this is snake oil. Well, I'm here to tell you that it is not. I firmly believe in this product. I love this product. I use this product. Like I said, we're going to do a video. There's another brand called the Oak Sip. We're going to compare the two. The Oak Sip has got a lot of traction in the market, and there's some knockoffs. We're going to compare them all. But spoiler alert, this is the best one, or it wouldn't be sitting on this table, guys. And I do, if you see this for sale, right, you see the website there. When you check this thing out, and if you get a little bit of sticker shock, don't be afraid of it. This is an awesome product, and I highly endorse this. One of my favorite things to do is I'll take these sample bottles. Right, here's another thing you can get. Just go to Amazon and look up little glass Boston round bottles. You can share whiskey with these things. Give them to all your friends. Anybody that's really into whiskey would love to have these for a gift. So what I do is I'll pour some in the whiskey grail, some whiskey, right? And put it in a sample bottle, and then I'll put the same whiskey that hasn't sat in the grail in a sample bottle, and I'll give those to somebody and label them 1 and 2. You know, I like to do blind battles. I'm going to tell you, everybody, and I mean everybody, has picked the whiskey that's come out of the whiskey grail as their favorite. So think about that. That doesn't mean I always put my whiskey in here. Sometimes I want to taste it for what it is. I don't want to alter it at all. You know, and I'm drinking some Elijah Craig barrel proof right here, and it's a really high proof barrel. I mean, I'm sure it's rounding it out a little bit. It's not real drastic on this one, but some of them, it completely changes things. So play with it. They're a lot of fun. They're well worth the value. Thank you to everybody over there at Whiskey Grill. Love your product. Keep doing what you do. Support these guys. Guys, they're competitors. I mean, look at that. You can tell it's actually charred. The other ones I have, it literally looks like they put black paint in there to make it look charred. These are more expensive, but I'm telling you, the craftsmanship that goes into these, good, you know, it's unbelievable. Get you a Whiskey Grail. Let me know in the comments if you've tried the Whiskey Grail. Let me know if you order one, because I'm really curious how you like it. So trucking right along, let's talk about, we just have a few things left over here. Let's talk about my friend at Shaff's Wood and Wool. Guys, you can find Shaff's Wood on Facebook, Etsy, all that good stuff. Shaff's Wood. Boom, check that out. These guys are awesome. He makes these hats. He makes, this might be the coolest thing all day. Bourbon Battles hats, Bourbon Battles shirts, Bourbon Battles Glencairn. Hey, if your person you're buying for does not have Glencairns, they're new into whiskey, head on over to Shaff's Wood and get them a Bourbon Battles Glencairn glass. Great prices, good people, cannot be happier with them. So check those guys out. Okay, let me take my list here. I think the last thing I want to talk about is just distilleries that nobody's really ever heard of. They're out there. Find them. They're amazing, right? So let's check this out. Some of my suggestions, no matter where you're at, there's local distilleries, right? But if you're buying for somebody that lives in your area, right, they've probably had the local distilleries, depending on how serious they are into whiskey. So in complete transparency, I switched, right, because I ran out, so we traded it out. Some of these can be shipped, some of them cannot be shipped. This is an example. If you're in central Indiana, maybe you want to check some of these guys out. One of my favorites, Moondrops Distillery in Fortville, Indiana, guys. These guys are doing it right. This is their Tawny Port barrel finish. That's what I'm drinking right now. This is an amazing pour. I got to try this before it came out on the market, guys. This stuff is absolutely amazing. Give Moondrops a shot over there in Fortville, Indiana. If you're in the central Indiana area, if you're passing through, really close to 465, 70 coming across, 65 going north to south. Easy to get to if you're passing through Indiana. Make sure you tell them Bourbon Battle sent you. Even if you live there and you see this, tell them that. Next on the list of cool distilleries to give you an idea to look for, 1816 Indiana Rye. Not sure if you can buy this online. Guys, this stuff is amazing. It's up in Rensselaer, Indiana. This is their 7-year-old rye. I love it. It is a sourced MGP product, but delicious, delicious, delicious whiskey. Really cool packaging as well. Go out to Oregon to the Bull Run Distillery. This is like a 15-year-old American whiskey, guys. I really love Bull Run. Need to do some more work with Bull Run. If you're watching this, I'll be reaching out again soon. One of my favorite distilleries in the world is the Loaded Cannon in Bradenton, Florida, right? Steve, my good friend down there, Steve's doing some amazing things. If you're in the Bradenton, Sarasota area, you're visiting Anna Maria Island, any of that stuff, head over to Loaded Cannon. Make sure you tell them that Bourbon Battle sent you. Tell them Joe and Libby said hi. Steve is a good friend of mine. We've gotten to be good friends through the whiskey. I go see him every time I'm down there. Love hanging out with him. Love going back into the barrel house and tasting stuff. What a great time. This whiskey, the next one I want to talk about is from Maryland. Let's get through these a little bit faster. Trailblazer, if you're anywhere over there, if you can find Trailblazer online. This right here, this is a store pick from Bay Ridge Wine and Spirits. I believe in Annapolis. This is one of the top 5 bottles in this room. This is amazing whiskey. I only wish I could clone this and I would buy it by the case. That stuff is absolutely amazing. Leaper's Fork right outside Nashville, Tennessee. What an amazing place. Go get you a bottle of this stuff. Super unique. Do a tour there. You're going to be glad you did. My friends out in Iowa, Cedar Ridge, guys, this stuff is amazing. I love their ryes. They're bottled and bond, they're double oaked rye, all that stuff is amazing. Not a giant fan of their port finished rye, not to my palate, but the port finished bourbon is amazing. Hey, Franklin, Indiana, guys, if you're passing through, go have a cocktail at Haberdasher and pick up one of these. Guys, awesome little cocktail place right here in Franklin, Indiana. You're going to be glad you stopped by. My favorite on this list, and this is what I was drinking before I ran out, Stolen Wolf. If you don't own a bottle of Stolen Wolf, you can get this online for cheap. Their rye is, I love it, I love it, I love it. They've got several different types of rye. If you can get their apple brandy, it's one of my favorite spirits I've ever had in my life. It's amazing, but they run out really, really fast. But their rye whiskey in Pennsylvania for $60-some is unbelievable. If you're still chasing Pappy Van Winkle and birthday bourbon and all this bullshit, you need to stop. Go to stolenwolf.com and order a bottle of their rye, and you just found a unicorn at really cheap prices. Probably something your friends aren't going to have on the shelf. If you're not in Pennsylvania and you're wanting to buy that gift, you still have time to get this to your house by Christmas. Cannot say enough nice things about these guys. Guys, I love every product we just talked about. Some more than others. Depends on where you're at, what you need. Amazing, amazing stuff. Like, love it all. Thank you for listening this far. And I want to remind you, drinking bourbon's fun. Do it with your friends. Do it responsibly. Have a great Christmas. Let me know in the comments if you have any of these products, your opinion on them. What did I leave out? I know there's some small distilleries I left out that are really cool, right? But hey, cheers and Merry Christmas.